New mistakes in Bluey. You must see Bluey, fans. You know how much we all love this show, right? It's got everything. Great stories, adorable characters, and those little life lessons that hit just right. It feels like Bluey is practically perfect. But guess what? Even Bluey has its little slip-ups. Yep, the creators are only human, and every now and then, they let a tiny mistake sneak in. These aren't the kind of things you'd catch on your first watch, though. They're super easy to miss. Today, we're uncovering some of the latest Bluey bloopers. From animation hiccups to timeline weirdness, these mistakes are just as fun to spot as the show itself. And who knows, maybe one of your favorite episodes has a mistake hiding in plain sight. Let's dive in and see if you've caught any of these before. Dirt. In the episode Dirt, Judo struggles with her desire to play in the dirt with Bluey and Bingo while trying to stay clean, as per her mom's rules. Later, Judo is shown looking sad, sitting on the steps outside her house. As Wendy approaches to console her, a brief but noticeable error occurs. For a split second, Wendy's tail phases right through the stairs as she sits down. This quick moment can be easy to miss, but it's a clear case of clipping, an animation issue where objects or characters overlap unnaturally. While it doesn't impact the touching moment between mother and daughter, it's a fun detail for eagle-eyed viewers to catch. Phones. Next up, in the episode Phones, Grandpa stops by the healer house to spend some quality time with the family. While searching for his phone, he stumbles upon Bluey and Bingo, who have set up a playful makeshift restaurant. The counter is neatly arranged with a bowl, a red pencil, and a small notebook, adding to the charm of their pretend play. However, a small animation inconsistency sneaks into this scene. Initially, the red pencil is placed next to the bowl on the counter. But when the perspective shifts to show the girls' faces head-on, the pencil has mysteriously moved. Instead of being beside the bowl, it now rests directly on top of the notepad. What makes this error even more interesting is that in a later shot, the pencil seems to have returned to its original position, as if nothing had happened. This subtle inconsistency might go unnoticed by most viewers, but for the eagle-eyed fans, it's a fun little quirk to catch during rewatching. Backpackers moving on. In the episode Backpackers, Bandit and Chili fondly reminisce about their youthful adventures traveling together before they had kids. In a playful twist, instead of carrying traditional backpacks, they're now carrying their two daughters, Bluey and Bingo, along with their cousin Muffin and an assortment of socks. During a moment on the Healer family porch, there's a subtle but noticeable animation error involving some toys left lying around. If you look closely, near Bandit's feet and behind Chili's tail, you can spot a few toys that were presumably left there by Bluey and Bingo. However, in the very next scene, those same toys have completely disappeared. This sudden vanishing act is puzzling, as the entire family is actively playing together on the porch, leaving no time for anyone to have cleaned up. It's safe to say this was an oversight on the animators' part, as they likely forgot to include the toys in the subsequent scene. Asparagus. In this episode, the Healer family is playing a game of pretend, with Bluey wielding a magic asparagus that turns people into animals. When Bluey transforms Bandit into a peacock, Bandit proudly shows off his new tail by turning around to display it to Chili and Bingo. However, during his turn, a small animation error occurs. The black patch of fur that is usually on Bandit's back momentarily appears on his chest before quickly switching back. Bandit, often the victim of animation slip-ups, seems to have fallen prey to another fur-related mistake. Bob Bilby. Up next, in Bob Bilby, Bluey and Bingo are on their way to the shopping mall with their family. While the focus is on the girls, a peculiar animation error can be spotted in the background, featuring Uncle Stripe and Aunt Trixie. If you pay close attention, you'll notice something unusual happening with their appearances. Aunt Trixie's fur color seems to randomly shift for no apparent reason. One moment, her fur is its usual shade, and the next it has changed out of the blue, almost as if she's a completely different character. But the real head-scratcher involves Uncle Stripe. Instead of his typical blue fur, his entire coat appears to be a reddish hue. At first glance, you might even question whether this is Uncle Stripe at all. Could Aunt Trixie be strolling with someone else? Let's hope that's not the case. Fairies. Fairies is another episode that offers more mischief for Bandit. As the healer family plays a game of pretend, Bandit mocks the fairies, leading to a series of magical consequences. When Bingo becomes frozen with her fingers in her nose, Bluey blames Bandit and demands he fix the situation. Bandit decides to perform an Irish jig near the letterbox while holding Bingo. However, right after Bandit lifts Bingo, his facial fur around his eyes disappears for a brief moment. To add to the chaos, Bingo's hand clips through Bandit's nose while he dances. Once again, Bandit becomes the unlucky victim of animation quirks. Cricket Cricket is a fan-favorite episode, filled with fun moments and friendly competition. After Rusty destroys the game by hitting all of Bandit's stripes, everyone gathers for snack time at Chili's call. However, something strange happens in the background. Chloe's mom can be seen sitting on a bench, but upon closer inspection, her legs don't align with her body. While she is seated on the bench, her legs appear to be positioned elsewhere, creating a supernatural-looking moment. It's an odd but amusing animation error that adds a layer of unintentional comedy to the scene. The beach. Another mistake can be spotted in the beach involving the sunscreen on Bluey's face. Chili applies sunscreen to Bluey to protect her from the harsh sun. But if you look closely, there's an issue with how the sunscreen is rendered. In certain shots, the sunscreen appears to clip right through Bluey's eyes and nose. When the scene is slowed down, you can clearly see the sunscreen overlapping with parts of her face where it shouldn't be, creating a strange and unnatural effect. This small rendering error doesn't distract too much from the episode's charm, but is a neat little detail for sharp-eyed fans to notice. These subtle mistakes remind us that even in a beautifully crafted show like Bluey, tiny imperfections can sneak in, giving us all something extra to spot and appreciate. Smoochy Kiss, moving on. In Smoochy Kiss, Bluey and Bingo play bodyguards to prevent Chili from giving Bandit a smoochy kiss. Later, as the family enters the laundry room, a subtle but strange mistake can be spotted. If you look closely at the taps on the laundry tub, they are initially positioned with the hot tap on the left and the cold tap on the right, with the hot tap facing the bathroom door. However, when Bandit emerges from the bathroom, the taps have mysteriously swapped positions. Now the hot tap is on the right and the cold tap is on the left. It's as if the taps have a mind of their own, switching places when no one is looking. Shadowlands. In the Bluey episode, Shadowlands, Bluey, Coco, and Snickers are engaged in an imaginative game where they must only walk in shaded areas, avoiding the crocodile-infested sunlit grass. As the kids navigate the game, a subtle but noticeable animation error occurs in the background involving their mothers. In one scene, the kids find themselves stuck on a tree shadow and start howling for help. Meanwhile, we see Snickers and Coco's mums sitting together under a tree on a picnic blanket. At first, both mums are clearly positioned facing the children watching their game. However, as the scene progresses and the camera zooms in on the mums in response to the kids howling, their positions inexplicably change. Now, Snickers and Coco's mums are sitting with their backs turned towards the kids, despite facing them just moments ago. This inconsistency in their seating positions is a clear continuity error. Sheepdog. In the episode Sheepdog, the healer family has a humorous encounter with a sheep that bears an uncanny resemblance to Bandit. In one scene, Bingo encourages the sheep to eat some grass, which it happily does. However, during this moment, a peculiar animation mistake occurs. As the sheep takes the grass from Bingo's hand, her hand disappears entirely for a brief moment. It almost looks as if the sheep accidentally ate her hand along with the grass. While it's clearly an unintended animation glitch, it's a funny detail that sharp-eyed viewers might notice. This kind of clipping or disappearing object error is a common challenge in animation, but here, it adds an extra layer of unintended humor to the scene. Phony in the Bluey minisode. Phony, Chili, Bluey, and Bingo are unwinding on the couch after a tiring day. They ask Phony, the smart device, to play some relaxing music to help them chill out. However, during this calm and cozy scene, a small but noticeable continuity error occurs in the background. As the family relaxes on the sofa, a picture of Bluey can be seen hanging on the wall right beneath the clock. The problem is, just a second earlier, when the girls were descending the stairs, that very picture wasn't there. It appears to have magically spawned into existence between scenes. While this error doesn't impact the heartwarming vibe of the minisode, it's another example of how even small, seemingly insignificant background details can shift unexpectedly. For attentive viewers, it's a fun little detail to spot and adds to the charm of catching these tiny slip-ups in Bluey's world. That concludes our review of the most recent mistake by Bluey that you may have missed. We hope you found it entertaining and perhaps even noticed some new things. Thank you for watching. Please share more amusing errors or small goofs you've seen in Bluey in the comments section. Remember to ring the bell to ensure you never miss an episode. Like the video and subscribe for more. Until we meet again.